Is this thing on? This is Lucas and I's second time trying to record this episode, but the first time the vibes were just not there. This time, vibes are immaculate. We got a candle burning, and Lucas?
Should we do a vibe check real quick?
Sure.
Checked. Solid.
I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah. So we're out here. We're back, which is crazy. Starting a brand new podcast on ourselves. And, you may be wondering, what is the recipe? First and foremost, if you're coming here for anything food related, if you're looking for grandma's famous lasagna recipe or, what I make in my beautifully delicious Sunday egg scramble, you kind of came to the wrong place. Obviously What is the Recipe is a podcast about recipes, but recipes that don't necessarily lead to a tasty meal.
So I want to start off with first, before we get into what's the recipe?
What's that recipe, yo?
I want to introduce ourselves first. I want to start there for anybody who is either, haven't heard from us in a while or simply just new to us. Let's start off by introducing ourselves. Tell the people who you are.
I am him.
And what you do. That was aggressive.
Well, I am one half of this podcast. My name is Lucas Fowler. Currently, I sell medical software. I'm in sales, front line of sales, super fun stuff. A father of two, an ex-collegiate athlete, and I'm super fucking stoked to be here with you.
Watches one Untold on Swamp Kings and has to throw in the ex-collegiate athlete.
I'm an ex-collegiate athlete. Nah, but in all seriousness, we have been waiting a long periodically time. In all seriousness, no, yeah. Ex-collegiate athlete for sure. Love sports and fitness. I feel like you can relate to that as well.
No, and I think that was a pretty good intro. And I'll introduce myself. My name is Amanda Fowler. I am one half of this podcast, but also one half of you. We're married.
Our children are one half of each of us.
I can't do math. My brain hurts right now. But I am a mindset and wellness coach. I'm a content creator and now a podcast host. I started off in 2015 as a blogger, fashion blogger. This guy over here was actually taking my blog photos. We should bring this back.
No, I don't think people need to see those outfits you were rocking in 2015.
They were honestly pretty horrendous. What's even more horrendous is that was on trend for the time.
I mean, I love looking back at that kind of stuff anyways, literally 16 years old. I'm taking pictures for you and nothing has changed. So, you'd think I'd get the angles down by now. I mean,
golly, you'd think. This crazy. Motherfucker has no idea how to take a goddamn iPhone photo for Instagram. Meanwhile, he has been doing this since 2015.
I just don't know really how to satisfy you in that realm still. I'm still trying.
Pretty easy to satisfy, baby.
Is that a jab to me though?
I don't know. Take it however you want. Anyway, I'm Amanda. Like I said, I've just been in content and on social media and in that space for so long. And I went back to school to get my health coaching certificate. So mindset and wellness coaching is that side of me. And now, I'm a mom of two. I have such long days where I am at a point in my life where I'm I really want to simplify and I want to just do what is lighting me up and exciting me. And this podcast is that. So that's who Lucas and I are. We met when we were 16 years old. We broke up for a year in college and then got back together, actually got pregnant our second semester of senior year of college.
Oh God.
Unexpectedly. And that's why we used to have a podcast called Accidental Parents.
Yes.
I feel like I've had 7 million podcasts at this point, but this is the one that honestly excites me the most. Now we're married. We have another beautiful boy. So we have 2 boys, and we just really wanted to start a podcast that resonated with us. We wanted to do something together, and we're so lit up by this. We're so excited.
Does this just burn your fire? Is that you just lit up right now?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, I just think we're in the thick of it right now. The thick of absolutely everything. The thick of trying to be successful in our careers, the thick of trying to be successful in our marriage, the thick of trying to be good parents to 2 children at 25 years old. You know, I think we're the first people to tell you that we do not have all the answers or the recipe per se. But we're on a journey to find out what that may be. You know, we're on a journey to understand, and I think we're both learners, like visually as well as just like seeing experiential. And like when someone inspires me, like I want to learn about how they came to who they are today so I can implement that in my life. You know, we do not have the answers to everything. We're not relationship experts, but we really resonated with like the thought of someone's journey, aka like what their recipe is on how they've gotten to where they are today. And it was like, boom, lightning bolt, like lightning bulb or light bulb.
Lightning bolt, light bulb.
Light bulb moment. It's like, wow, maybe we can take this idea of understanding the journey of other people's stories and how they got to where they are, especially people that inspire us.
To help us and to help others.
And run with it.
Yeah. And I think to go off of what you were saying too, is I think there's so many people on social media that are showing you their results and you're not necessarily seeing their journey. And I think being in your 20s, whether you're a parent or not, or post-grad or in school, it's confusing as fuck. And we all just want to succeed and get to the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's really the premise of this podcast. And I'm going to actually give you guys like what this podcast is. What's the recipe? And if you're watching on YouTube, yes, I'm reading this off my phone.
People are still like, okay, well, what is it?
Yeah. So this is a podcast where we share our own experience in the kitchen, aka life, as well as interview other individuals and couples who dish out their own proprietary blends for finding love, achieving success, and creating joyful and fulfilling lives. So I think if there's anything that Lucas and I have learned, it's that we have tried to throw spaghetti at the wall so many times to see what sticks. And the only thing that we do know is that there's not a singular recipe to finding love, achieving success, having joy in your life, and feeling fulfilled. So what we do know is that it's about getting in the kitchen. It's about taste testing and creating a recipe that actually resonates with you, that satisfies your taste buds. So with this show, we hope that you leave feeling inspired, empowered, hungry, rich, curious, and full, like any good dinner with good people leaves you. Chew on what resonates and spit out the rest.
I'm going to get that tatted. Chew on what resonates and spit out the rest. I love that. No, obviously, and I think like, this is like the play on words with the cooking and the recipe and in the kitchen and throwing, you know, spaghetti on the wall. Is it spaghetti or pasta? Spaghetti. Throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, I love the terminology of food, and I know you do too.
Tell them why, babe.
I mean, we're both obsessed with food. Who isn't? Food was what raised me. I mean, I'm in the middle of planning on going to culinary school, which is super fun. Can't wait to do that. But we just figured, like, when talking about what is like a podcast that we want to team up on, and it's not only worth it for us and fulfilling for us, but it's fulfilling for our listeners as well. And what makes sense. And it's like, let's talk to people who have been in the shit, who have been in the kitchen for fucking years, who make a damn good meal. But what the hell, like, what's the building blocks to that meal? Who taught you that meal? What are the ingredients? What is the recipe to, like, where you've gotten to today? And it's like, boom, that makes so much sense. I think it's something that we're super excited about. We want to dive into. I don't think we have any idea what's going to come from this podcast other than we want to give it our all. And we hope that you join us along the way and learn with us.
I feel like your 20s again is like, seriously, this metaphor of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, because you're trying so many things over and over and over. And I feel like this is a thing that I feel so ready to commit on, and we're getting it tatted on us, so we better fucking commit.
Either way, it's still a cool tattoo.
But no, I 100%.
I don't have any tattoos.
Yeah, he doesn't have any tattoos, actually.
I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't terrified.
Shitting your pants?
I'm a little scared.
Before I kind of get into what you can expect out of this podcast, I want to explain to you guys a little bit more about like behind the branding, because I love a good brand story. if there is a brand that has immaculate design work, but also has a story behind
Stupendous.
I feel like I used immaculate twice and I've never said that word ever in my life.
I was like, oh, we're throwing fancy words out here now. That's why I just was like stupendous.
But if there's a brand
felt right.
that has a story behind it, like I'm so drawn in. So I want to share a little bit about how also we bring both of our energies into this podcast. I'm, again, like super into mindset, super into wellness, super into personal development and growth. And so is Lucas in your own extent. But I'm so rooted in individuality and wanting to create your success based on your authentic self and being who you are. And again, like that journey to get there. And I think Lucas is as well. But we were like, how can we make this feel less like aesthetic self-growthy and more like you as well with the food things?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think we were just trying to figure out what makes sense for the both of us to team up on something. And, I think we both really want to be better versions of ourselves every single day. I think that's something we both strive for. And I think a lot of our world revolves around food in the kitchen. Like we cook every night for our family.
You cook every night?
I cook every night for our family.
And before you guys are like, oh my gosh, like he's such a he won't let me. Like it's not like I don't want to, or I'm just like this princess. He does not let me. That's also why he's going to culinary school.
Because I know what I like, you know
what
I'm saying?
I meant though is like, your grandma is such an amazing cook. Your dad became a chef. He's owned restaurants. You grew up in that world. You want to understand that world.
Yeah, recipes are everything in life.
Right.
Everything. Like everything has a recipe no matter what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
If it's a dish with actual food, or it's like the recipe to your success. What is your secret sauce? Like, how are you better than other people doing the same fucking thing?
Yeah.
Everyone has that like little secret to them that maybe they can share with us if we ever have them on the podcast. And like, everyone has their moment where they were eating shit, like where they like burned the dish per se, right? Where they learn these lessons of life. And they use these lessons to become a better version of themselves, which is what we're always striving to do.
And to create a beautiful meal at the end of the day.
For sure. And it's like, we aren't, we're not, what am I trying to say?
Let me take over because I feel like
Save me.
To wrap this up. Also, you guys are going to get to know us. I feel like we both have a tendency to ramble, but like we catch each other. So here's what I want to add. I think, and it's even why I say it at the end of that little like monologue tagline thing, is we have had the most amazing conversations, life lessons told to us, growth moments over the dinner table. We've had the most connection, the most communication, the most like, I've actually had the most profound moments, like growing up, just being at the dinner table with my parents and their friends, like just hearing so many stories that left me feeling inspired. And that's one of our favorite pastimes. So
yeah, I mean, you were raised every night having dinner with your family around the table, primarily most of the time.
Yeah, E! News was always on in the background, but yes, we did.
What is it, Access Hollywood?
No, it was E! News. It was like
we were an
OGE.
We were an Access Hollywood family.
No, E! News all the way.
And I, was raised every single night with my parents, with my siblings at the dinner tables. Some nights it was a screaming session and we wouldn't even get through dinner. And other nights we would cry around the dinner table of laughter and, how much we love each other and just learning new things from our parents. So there's so much value around just sitting down and talking and learning new things and being open and being vulnerable. And it's like, we want to bring that into our daily life.
Right.
How do we start something together to, emphasize that and bring that into our life?
And the last thing I want to share is that with this podcast, our hopes, again, are to share some insight into, what we've learned over the past 10 years of being together, but then also interview other couples and other individuals and hear their stories, their recipes. And with that, you're going to hear a lot of different recipes, and that's the point. Because again, I don't believe that there's one singular recipe. I think people like to make it out to think that if you just do this one thing, you'll succeed. And so you're probably going to hear a lot of different stories on this podcast, a lot of different recipes that might be conflicting. And so that's what I say, chew on what resonates. Like, devour the things that actually strike a chord with you, and then spit out what doesn't. And so that's really what we want to do on this podcast, and we're excited.
Super excited.
I think we really wanted to keep this episode short and sweet. We're going to take the next few episodes of this podcast to help you guys get to know us, because I think I love listening to podcasts where I actually know the guests. So we wanted to take this episode to just, keep it short and sweet, introduce ourselves, like jump on here and say, hi, hey, this is what we're doing.
Hello.
So thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. Also, if you're listening to this, you can watch us on YouTube. We're going to be having these on YouTube. We're going to release every single week.
Absolutely. Give us a follow on What's the Recipe Pod. Like Amanda said, we're going to have a YouTube channel as well, where we're just going to put all of our whole entire recorded podcast, which is being video recorded as well, on there, so you can see our pretty faces. And yeah, let's have some fun. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. I
think we need to have a fun recipe kitchen, restaurant themed goodbye, sign off. I don't want to do cheers because that seems so
Should we 86 the episode?
What's 86?
You don't know what 86 means?
Oh
it means you've run out of the ingredient.
What?
Let's say you're in a restaurant and someone orders the last dish that you have. Let's say you're out of steaks, 86 the steaks. Does that make sense?
No.
So did I explain that?
You did, but I'm confused on how it
So if you've run out of a certain dish to give out to you, 86 it.
Yeah.
You tell the servers, hey, the New York strip is 86 tonight. Okay.
Okay, so this episode's 86.
Yeah, let's 86 this episode.
Okay, I love it. All right. Bye guys.
No.